Hello, everybody. All right, so welcome to the Mikestand, everybody. Today is Tuesday, May the 28th, 2024. I hope everybody's having a good week thus far. We're going to give people a chance to come in here before we, of course, get started. Um, If you haven't, of course, those who may be in the chat, if you haven't already, if you guys can like and share the screen, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything that we talk about tonight grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and I will try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Uh, all right. Anyways, okay. So it looks like we have three people in here. So I guess I'll just go ahead and start talking about what's on tap for tonight. Since we do have a third person in here. So for tonight, of course, I picked a couple articles from Bounding in the Comics to go into. One in regards to the Rippaverse, and apparently Seth MacFarlane is getting together with Rippa to I guess do some toys for some of the Rippaverse characters, particularly in the Yaira, I guess an official Yaira stature. Also, Harry Shearer has come out with some commentary on the fact that he's not playing Dr. Hibbert anymore on The Simpsons, and we're going to go ahead and look at that as well. Also, of course, we'll have the wrestling wrap up a little later, um, as well as talking about of course, I'll have this day in each history as well. Like I said, we're just waiting for. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes here before we actually get into the articles here. See if anybody. Again, if you guys can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we will try to answer the questions to the best of. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Oh, all right. So with that, all right. So we have three people. So we're coming up on 4 minutes. So I guess I'll go ahead and get started. Um, well, let's get into this then. Let me go with that. So here's, of course, the first article we're going to look at tonight. Let's see. In massive win for indie comics, Rippaverse partners with McFarlane Toys for official Yaira statue. Article by Spencer Baculi, published May 28, 2024. Here we go with this. And there's Yaira right there. Well, Yaira seems like to me maybe Rippaverse's answer to Wonder Woman, I guess, from the looks of her. So whether you love him or hate him, you've got to give Eric July his due, as in a major development for the whole of the ever-growing crowd-funded comic scene. His eponymous Rippaverse has announced that it will be partnering with none other than McFarlane Toys to produce a brand new statue based on the imprint's ice-slinging superheroine Yaira. Disclosure: this article's author holds a personal friendship with the Rippaverse's creative manager Andrew Rodriguez. So basically, I think Spencer Bakuli here is telling us that there is some bias on his part there. So I guess we should take that into consideration as we consider what he has to say. Let me go back and all right. And as always, guys, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions the best of my ability. So let's continue on here with the article. Let's see now. Revealed to the public on May 24th, so last Friday, the quote first official Rippaverse statue unquote will see the aforementioned toy manufacturer, who probably not only produces DC's multiverse line of figures, but also recently acquired the license to craft a new set of figures based on Marvel Comics roster of costume characters. Sculpt a limited edition collectible depicting a costumed Yaira, as illustrated by her concept artist Marcos Rios and company lead art editor Cannon White, rushing into battle as she summons a combination of ice and frost to wield against her foes. Oh, so she's more like ice and Iceman and all that. Standing at approximately 12.7 inches tall, cast in resin, and releasing in a, quote, deluxe four-color closed box, unquote, the Yaira statue will be produced in an extremely limited quantity as determined by pre-order sales, with the Rippaverse promising to produce, quote, a minimum of 500 units, unquote. Basically 500, 500 whatever, action figures they decide to produce. I don't think it's 500 each, it's 500 total, I think is what they're talking about. To a maximum run that will, quote unquote, not exceed 1,050 units. To this end, the Yaira statue will run interested fans $500 US dollars a piece, which, while steep, as evidenced by their limited to 350 pieces Batman Year 2 and Superman Action Comics #1 releases, is currently pricing for McFarlane's more limited offerings. I guess those right there are what they're talking about, of course. There's, of course, Todd McFarlane, not to be confused with Seth MacFarlane. I don't believe I did that earlier, but in case I did, we're, of course, talking about Todd McFarlane, not Seth MacFarlane. So, anyways. Speaking in promotion of the surprise partnership, Rippaverse beamed in a public press release announcing the figure, quote, the release of the Yaira statue marks a significant milestone for the Rippaverse, bringing one of its most beloved characters to life in a new and exciting way. Quote, unquote, then quote, this limited edition collectible, combined with the immersive storytelling of Yaira #1, offers fans a unique opportunity to deepen their connection with the Rippaverse, unquote. She added, quote, secure your statue and graphic novel today to be part of this monumental moment in the world of comics and collectibles, or be left out in the cold. Oh, what a pun there, right? What a pun there. Pun, 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 pun. We all love puns. Yeah, yeah. Pun, 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 pun. I guess canon is who they're talking about when they say she there. Anyways. Oh. And this one looks like it went pretty quickly. Set to release sometime between the fourth quarter of 2024 and the first quarter of 2025, McFarlane's Yaira statue is now available for pre-order exclusively through Rippaverse's official website. All right, so if you guys are into Yaira, if you guys are in, you now can get an action figure, action figure an action figure along with the book um, to get along with the book to further increase your desire, basically your love for that particular thing. But with that was a pretty quick article, so we're going to move right into the next one here and talk about this next one. So get into this a bit. The Simpsons star Harry Shearer hears, quote, "Folks say the show has become woke," unquote, now that he no longer plays Dr. Hibbert. Article by J.B. Augustine, published today. So, of course, there's Dr. Hibbert from the Simpsons cartoon. Yeah, so Harry Shearer had been the longtime voice of him, among other characters, of course. The Simpsons, despite being a stalwart of primetime, has been going downhill, and the phenomenon is not relegated to the last few years. The show's quality has wavered for decades, and for a long time has been a far cry from its heyday in the mid-90s. Yeah, I mean, sometimes in some cases with some series, you know, um, and with and this runs the same with animated series. Sometimes you can get to the point where you just go so long that you just kind of run out of steam. I mean, how long? You've had Bart Simpson here, who's been 10 years old for 35 years. You've had Lisa Simpson, who's been 8 years old for 35 years. You've had Maggie, who's been what, maybe 2 years old for 35 years. Of course, it's gonna get stagnant. Unless you're doing stuff like what they did with Looney Tunes and just having like the shorts or one-offs or whatever. You know, but fairly recently, however, is when members of the cast started to notice through feedback from fans. For one, Harry Shearer, who supplied such memorable voices over the years as Mr. Burns, Smithers, Principal Skinner, makes note of what they've been telling him. The substance of their gripes and criticism shouldn't surprise you. It's wokeness. Relative to the decision by showrunners to bar white actors like Shearer from voicing characters of color, regardless of the fact that they played them since the beginning. Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things. Like nobody cared until the last 4 or 5 years here of whether or not the voice behind the character was or the person doing the voice of the character was white or not. Not a Hibbert, nobody really cared, and nor really should they have. You know, but you do have people who are, I guess that's him right there, Harry Shearer right there. Quote, "Folks say the show has become woke in recent years and one of my characters has been affected," unquote, Scherer said in an interview with the Times of London, where he also explained the origin of one of his most iconic voices. Quote, I voiced the black physician, Dr. Hibbert, who I based on Bill Cosby. Back then, he was known as the, quote, whitest black man on television, unsmaller quote. Then, a couple of years ago, I received an email saying they'd employed a black actor who then copied my voice, unquote, he revealed. So the guy actually created a voice, basing it somewhat off of, Bill Cosby to do as Dr. Hibbert, which I think was kind of the, and now now in the name of DEI, they wanted to change it. Hey, Metal, thanks for popping in. Again, as always, of course, if you feel free to comment and or ask questions if anything grabs your attention here. So, anyways, we continue on here with the article here. The actor that replaced Scherer was Kevin Michael Richardson, who, of course, is a well-known black voice actor. He's done a number of different characters throughout the DCAU, a number like he was Robert Hawkins in Static Shock. He's done Mammoth, I think, in two separate things. He did Mammoth in Teen Titans. I think they also run back to do Mammoth in Young Justice too. But anyways, who already had a prolific career behind him before landing the role of Dr. Hibbert. Richardson played iterations of the Shredder, the Joker, and time-traveling X-Men Bishop, along with much more. And I've, of course, mentioned a couple of other of his credits there as well. So, anyways, we read that part. But Scherer sees the absurdity in the recasting. Quote, the result is a black man imitating a white man imitating the whitest black man on TV. Okay, he said. Okay. That's kind of an interesting thought there. Let me read that again, because that just sounds that does sound kind of interesting when you think about it. Quote, the result is a black man imitating a white man imitating the whitest black man on TV, unquote, he said. Now, for those of you who might have just kind of popped in a little late here and didn't catch the first part of the article, Harry Scherer had said that how he came up with a voice for Dr. Hibbert was by imitating Bill Cosby. Okay, and many people over the years have said Bill Cosby was kind of the whitest black man on TV. Okay, now of course everybody knows. Some people know him famously. Some people know him infamously. Bill Cosby, known for his work as, of course, Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids, The Cosby Show, Cosby, among other things. He was also in I Spy earlier in his career as well. The 60s version, not the updated version that came later. But anyways, let's get ready to move down. And so all POC characters followed suit, including Homer's co-worker at the power plant, Carl, now played by Alex Desert of Flash and Boy Meets World fame. Except for one, Apu, voiced by Hank Azaria, was retired after the documentary The Problem with Apu drew unwanted criticism. The Apu debacle was the catalyst for Scherer and Azaria losing parts on The Simpsons, but they each still play a plethora of Springfielders to this day, and they have their favorites. Quote, I play more than 20 characters, but the evil nuclear plant owner, Mr. Burns, is a favorite. I styled his voice on Ronald Reagan, Scherer said. All right, so, but with that too, of course, you have to understand this. The Simpsons is an ensemble cast of characters. Okay, you have what could be close to 100, 50 to 100 characters, at least 50 to 100 characters, played by like about 5 or 6 voice actors. Over the years. There have been times when they've actually brought in like certain guest voice actors, like the McCartneys, for example, to play, play either themselves or particular roles. But you have basically 5 or 6 voice actors playing 50 to 100 characters. I mean, Sheriff here said he played more than 20 characters. So that could theoretically be the same of many characters. So anyways, that was kind of an interesting take on all that. But with that being said, now these were the only 2 articles I was going to read. It looks like we did run a little short on time. But what I just noticed just a few moments ago, I guess another article just popped up just like within the last, I guess time that I've, last, 10 or 15 minutes in the time that I've started my show here. And of course, ignore that red mark, because I think some people have said that it's due more to my search engine than anything else. So anyways, now we're going to get ready to, of course, onto the next article here. Or this probably, unless something else pops up, this is likely going to be the last article I'm going to do tonight. Unless something else pops up, or this one, but anyways, Sakamoto Days, in smaller quotes, receives new mission orders as Shueisha officially announces long-awaited anime adaptation. So this is an anime announcement. This is announcement that here's another manga, Sakamoto Days, is coming to your TV screen soon. Article by Nerdigans Inc. published today. There it is, right there. All right, so anime fans, it's time to ready yourselves for one more mission, as Shueisha has finally issued the long-awaited activation order for the highly anticipated anime adaptation of Sakamoto Days. Taro Sakamoto, who I guess is being voiced in the anime by Tomokazu Sugita, prepares to take out assassins in Sakamoto Days from TMS Entertainment. All right, so confirmations that an animated adaptation of Yuto Suzuki's fan favorite action comedy series was first provided on May 27th, which was, of course, yesterday, when Weekly Shonen Jump editor-in-chief Hiroyuki Nakano concluded the premiere episode of Shueisha's weekly Shonen Jump-centric YouTube news program, Jump Press, with the reveal of Sakamoto Days' first trailer. Adapted from Yuto Suzuki's best-selling manga, the teaser trailer kicks off with a recap of series protagonist Taro Sakamoto, who's voiced in the Japanese by Tomokazu Sugita, who also has the voice of Gintoki Sakata in Gintama. Journey from an action-packed lifestyle as the legendary hitman to a peaceful life as a fat married father and convenience store. Okay, I think they forgot to put the S in. It says here convenience store owner, but I believe it's meant to be convenience store owner. So again, I think it's a similar. Sounds like a similar premise to like Spy Family and The Way of the House Husband, right? Um, that's what it seems like it is. However, after he finds himself the target of a hit, Sakamoto delves back into the face. I guess fact. That's supposed to be fact, not face. Fact-based. Fast. Actually. Uh, all right. There were obviously some spelling errors here. I think this was supposed to be fast-paced. Somebody screwed up here on the with these typos. I think it's supposed to be the fast-paced world of assassinations, and teams up with his former partner, the clairvoyant Shina Asakura, whose I guess voice is to be announced later, in order to save both himself and his family, all the while abiding by his newly developed but very strict no killing rule. Produced by TMS Entertainment and helmed by Battle Spirits, franchise director Masaki Watanabe, the Sakamoto Days anime script will be penned by Gintama and Blue Lock scriptwriter Taku Kishimoto and feature character designs by Megalobox director Yo Moriyama. Look at this. Look at this. He got his I guess his youngest daughter, I guess his wife sitting at the table there, and his youngest daughter hanging on him as he's like um, laying there, I guess watching TV or something. Well, yeah, it would be watching TV because there's a remote control right underneath his belly right there. And just to think, I guess there was a time when this guy was an assassin. Look at that. Following the airing of the teaser trailer, TMS Entertainment declassified statements from both series director Masaki Watanabe and the aforementioned Suzuki regarding the anime adaptation's official announcement. When I read Sakamoto Days for the first time, I remember how excited I was, and it gets nerd again talking, by the powerful action depicted in the manga, unquote. Watanabe stated, in parentheses, as machine translated by DeepL, so I guess it was the series director there. Quote, with that feeling at the core of Sakamoto Days anime, I added the elements of in smaller quotes, movement, unsmaller quote, smaller quotes, color, and in smaller quotes, sound that only visual images can provide. I hope to create a work with a sense of dynamism and speed. Unquote. Let's see now before I read them. See if anybody else has popped in. Nope. Oh, anyways. All right. Quote, we also remember the humor scattered in the original story, he added. Quote, I would also like to portray the character of Sakamoto, a family oriented, non killing hitman with great care. The entire staff is hard at work on the film, so please look forward to its release, unquote, says the director, of course. Meanwhile, Suzuki proclaimed, quote, Sakamoto Days, I am amazed that my work will be seen on TV, unquote. Quote, this is all thanks to all the fans who have supported me. Thank you so much, unquote, the mangaka continued. Quote, I will be very happy if you could continue to support. I would be very happy if you could continue to support Sakamoto Days with me. Thank you very much. Unquote. It does sound like a very interesting anime. Well, I will, it does sound like a very interesting story. Mm-hmm. All right. At current, Sakamoto Days is slated to begin its sortie on January 2020. So I think in this case they meant to say in January. You'd only say on if you had a specific date in mind, but in this case it doesn't seem that way. But essentially, what they're saying is that the Sakamoto Days anime will be part of the the 2025 winter release season, basically. Oh. Meanwhile, the original manga can be read on Shueisha's official Manga Plus and Viz Shonen Jump apps, with new chapters releasing every Sunday. And there he goes again as the convenience store owner. Oh, there we go with that. So that was a pretty good story as well. Let's see. All right, so it looks like that we're done with the articles then. See, so 30 coming on 33 minutes, and was actually planning on maybe not trying to push it as much an hour. Let's see. So yeah, some interesting stories coming out. Again, life doesn't have to be driven by drama, people. You know, look, we just did three basically released three positive stories there. The Rippaverse opening the door to merchandising for the indie comic scene. That sounds pretty good. Now, yeah, the second article there about Cher being replaced by Kevin Michael Richardson for that one was probably a little more controversial, just because of the whole wokeness and all that DEI stuff. And then we get the last story, which is a new anime, to look forward to that's going to hit Japan here in January. So, during the 2025 winter release season. So that's gonna be good to check out, as it were. And again, if you haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people here to engage, that'd be appreciated. Also, if anything that we've talked about grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the question the best of my ability. With that, of course, unless anybody wants to ask anything or anything like that, we probably will move on to the wrestling wrap up. We'll probably get a chance to talk about the fallout from last night's, the fallout from Sunday's or from Saturday's King and Queen of the Ring. We'll look at what all happened, on last night's Monday Night Raw. Maybe we'll also talk a little bit about, about some of the going on in AEW, the fallout from that, and also some of the news coming out of there. So let me see now. Let's see. Anything else coming up here? No, I guess it doesn't seem that way. Okay, so with that, we're going to move on to the wrestling wrap up then here. So today being what? Yeah, okay, the wrestling wrap up. I'm sorry, the wrestling wrap up. All right, so on last night's Monday Night Raw, of course, which again the fallout from the King and Queen of the Ring. Last night's Monday Night Raw took place at the Elman Kef Arena in Savannah, Georgia, with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee as your commentators. So in the opening match, Braun Strowman defeated JD McDonough of the Judgment Day. A match between recently called up Ilya Dragunov and Ricochet went to a no contest at 10 minutes 30. The Authors of Pain, who had Paul Ellering, Karrion Kross, and Scarlett in their corner, defeated the Creed brothers with Ivy Nile in their corner in about 2 minutes 45 seconds. Laria Valkyrie defeated Kairi Sane in a one-on-one match. Rey Mysterio defeated Carlito. Bronson Reed defeated Otis. And it looks like in some cases, some of the commentators are saying Otis and maybe the rest of Alpha Academy are starting to just they're about to have had enough of Chad Gable's shenanigans, as even Sami Zayn came out to confront them on last night's show. And then in her return match for the WWE Women's World Title, Becky Lynch lost to Liv Morgan in a steel cage match. Now, the reason I believe, of course, the reason possibly why the title was taken off of Lynch, and while she did not regain it here, is apparently Becky Lynch's contract is coming up here. Her contract is due up here. She is apparently not renewed. That's why they decided to put the title on Liv Morgan, with, of course, the supposed help of Dominic Mysterio. Let's see. Konnichiwa. Yes, konnichiwa. Good night, Spoon. Thank you for dropping in. Again, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. So anyways, as I was saying, it looks like Becky Lynch's contract is coming up. She has not re-signed with the WWE. There's still some talk that now I guess her contract is supposed to come up on June 1st here, so this Saturday. And there'll be some other contracts coming up elsewhere that we'll talk about as well. There's been a lot of speculations as what, when her contract comes up, what Lynch may do if she doesn't re-sign with the WWE. There has been a lot of talk that she might go to AEW, but then there's also been some talk that she might decide to take a hiatus from pro wrestling, to maybe spend some time with her family, do other things. But I guess we'll just have to, as the saying goes, stay tuned. Also, with that, and speaking of AEW, of course, a couple of news items have come out over the last few days. Of course, speaking of contracts coming up and what have you, Mark Henry and Arn Anderson's contracts are apparently due up, and they've already both indicated that they are not returning. Now, in their cases, of course, just like in Becky Lynch's case, it would appear that their leaving of AEW is on good terms. Arn's contract is due to expire here um, on Friday, the 31st. Mark Henry's is due to come up on Saturday, June 1st. While I just saw the story on Arn leaving AEW just before the show here. Mark Henry, kind of made the announcement on Busted Open Radio the other day. And from the looks of it, looks like, first off, with AEW having no plans for Henry to begin with, he's looking maybe to go off to do other things. He's focusing on, of course, operating markhenry.com. You may even see a podcast from him for all we know. Maybe the world's strongest podcast. Maybe we'll see that coming up, in the months to come. It's like, as Ted DiBiase says, everybody's got a podcast, right? As over the last, of course, 8 years here, you've got wrestling podcasts all over the place with a number of old time wrestling, talents, kind of giving their take not just on stuff from the past, but also, you get behind the scenes stuff from stuff a lot of us grew up on, but also, just talking about giving their impressions on what's going on in the world of wrestling today. So with that, one last thing to talk about, of course, before we go on to this day in each history to talk. Well, actually, there is thus far for tomorrow's Dynamite. They do have a gauntlet match planned to determine who will next face Swerve Strickland in the number one contendership match to see who will face him at Forbidden Door. Now, as I understand, also was recently announced. I might have mentioned this yesterday as well. It was at Double or Nothing on Sunday. Tony Khan announced. Actually, it was on the pre-show. In fact, Tony Khan had announced that the winners of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, both the men and the will receive world title shots at a later date. I don't know if it's supposed to be at All In or what have you. Now, also, as we mentioned yesterday, too, the King and Queen of the Ring winners from WWE, going back to WWE news, they will be getting title shots at SummerSlam. So, and Gunther did actually confront Demon Priest last night, as it were. So we will be waiting to see there what all that goes. Anyway, so now why don't we go ahead and get ready to move on to this day in each history. As today being Tuesday, May the 28th, 2024. So let's take a look back at this day in each history. History! So first off, I'd like to wish a happy 70th birthday to voice actor Townsend Coleman, who's, of course, been known for a number of things in the animation world. He was, of course, the voice of the titular character, the Tick, on the Tick series. He was also Michelangelo and Rat King and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I believe that might have been in the 80s. Colt in Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs. I know he also did the voices of. He did a number of voices, including, of course, Eject and Rewind in the G1 Transformers cartoon. He's lent his voice to a number of characters over the years. But happy 70th birthday to American actor and voice actor Townsend Coleman. And 1954 is just so nice that we're gonna hit it twice. As on this date in 1954 as well, the 30th issue of Journey into Unknown Worlds from Marvel, at the time known as Western Fiction Publishing Company, went on sale on this date back in 1954. I believe it was probably a horror anthology or a supernatural sci-fi anthology. Sold for 10 cents for 32 pages. Of course, the late great Stan Lee was the editor on this one. So on this date as well, 70 years ago today, the 30th issue of Journey into Unknown Worlds went on sale from Marvel at the time known as Western Fiction Publishing. So let's see. Happy birthday to Tom Welling as well. All right. Well, happy birthday to him as well, I guess. All right. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. And we will, of course, be back here tomorrow. And, of course, don't forget to head over to Rick Piper's channel, as he'll be doing his chill stream here in a bit, about another little over 13 minutes. So go over there, say hi to him, give him some props, give him some love, With that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here. Okay. We'll of course have Rick on tomorrow as well as Friday when we do the historical comic retrospect. We'll be going through comics that went on sale in February 1940 from Quality Comics. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.